Hey guys, so today I was inspired to do a makeup look based on another callow lily painting. I've done a couple recreations before, but I haven't done anything too crazy in a while, so I asked my friends on Facebook to choose between a couple paintings that I had an idea of doing, and they chose one that's called a fine mess, I think, and I'll put the link to that picture, excuse me, down below. And this is, this is just what I came up with for it. It's really crazy colorful. I mean, blue brows, green inner corner, whatever, crazy wings. I don't know. But if you guys are interested in how I did this look, please keep on watching. Take my MAC paint pot in Painterly. It's just this, really light, like, skin tone base, and I'm gonna be putting these Halloween cream paints, face paints. I don't know, and I'm gonna use the yellow and the red for my color bases, and also the white to define the brow and to map out some lines and stuff. So, and with any kind of cream color base, you definitely always want to have, if not a paint pot, which I find is the best for non-creasing, or like Urban Decay Primer Potion, Too Faced Shadow Insurance, Benefit's Lemonade Eye Primer. You just want something really tacky, and preferably silica based, because they tend to be really tacky. I mean, they really adhere to the shadows that you put on, and they're waterproof, and I find them the best for not creasing. So with my shading, my little brush, I'm gonna go into this like primary blue color. Just pick up a tiny bit of that much. It's just a tiny bit, you can always add more, and I'm going to just essentially do my brows the way I always do them, starting from the arch and drawing the tail, and then going from the bottom up, and then filling up the rest of it, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit, just to get most of the cream product off. My 120 palette, if you don't have it, just use whatever you have in your collection. If you're gonna even be recreating this, I don't know who would. And the first color that I'm gonna use is this, I don't know, like a sea blue. And this is gonna go on the first, I don't know, third of the brow. I'm gonna pat it at first before I start sweeping it, so that it doesn't apply patchy. And the cream product is just gonna allow it to like really stick there, so.
I really want like a gradient kind of effect, kind of like that. I think it looks really cool on like colored brows. I mean, it looks good with like browns when you're filling your brows normally, but I like it especially with color because it really stands out.
This is more of a sky blue. There you go. So you have this like gradient. Next thing I'm gonna go do is apply my cream color bases. So starting with a little bit at a time, just basically pat the color into the inner half of your lid and going above the above the crease, up into like right underneath the socket bone.
It might take a little while to build up this color.
If you don't have cream color bases, you could always use like a really creamy white eyeliner or a NYX jumbo pencil in bottom tear duct, or yeah, the red. Just pat this on as well. And this is gonna go on the remainder of the lid, like that. And so, from there I'm gonna apply my brow definition, and it's also gonna serve as a white base for the highlight, which is just a matte white. So I'm taking a small, really thin, really thin, stiff angled brush, and I'm gonna dip that into the white. This is gonna go right on the outer edge of the brow, and I'm gonna pull, like, blend the color out just a little bit so that you can see that it looks really defined, but it's not like a completely harsh white line.
And then I'm dragging the color down.
Why do I always do that? Like bobblehead.
Now that we have those cream bases on, we're gonna set them with eyeshadow. So for that, take any brush that is like a nice, stiff, short, dense, like brush that will pick up a lot of color and pack the color on. So, okay, don't do that though. And that 120 palette, I'm gonna mix this marbled yellow, which is just like a really matte primary yellow, with flecks of like orange, just orange. I'm gonna take a mix of that firstly.
So pat. And take that up to your socket.
So now I'm gonna go into the really matte red of the 120 palette here, that guy. So it's like a primary, like true red. And for this color, I'm not gonna be taking, I'm not gonna place a lot of color into the cream. I sounded like a turkey. A lot. And to blend into the yellow and orangey colors, first I kind of pat on the line that separates them. With a look like this, especially with matte colors, it can be really hard to blend, so I always recommend going back and forth, applying yellow and then red, and then yellow and then red, and just kind of doing like a layering process. Please do not attempt the look if you're not gonna blend it out, because no. Right here, it's really pigmented and I'm not gonna pick up very much at all, so I'm gonna use a little like lip brush because it's really thin and it's really pointed and it's dense, and I can get some precisionness going on. So this is going into the above, like the socket, so a little bit higher than where your socket bone is, just to give the appearance of a more like lid space. So just follow the natural curves of your eyeball, and I'm going in with a really thin line. this part can be really tricky, especially if you have my kind of eye type where you really don't have a prominent socket hollow. So you gotta cut the baby. I have one. It's really hard to see because I have like this fat eyelid here where it's weird.
This is probably the most meticulous part of this whole look. So I'm just bringing it like that.
Alright, and the next thing that I'm gonna do is to apply my highlight color so that when I go in to blend the red and the orange and the yellow up, it doesn't place too much color and it creates a really nice diffused fade right there. I'm just taking this on like a paddle brush, a large paddle brush, and I'm going to pat this under the arch first and go along the tail. And when I get to the end of the tail, just kind of blend that outwards a little bit. I'm going to take like a fluffy blending brush. So now I'm going to just take a tiny bit of that red on the very tip and actually start to blend over this black and kind of bring it in just a little bit. Wipe off the brush again, just a bit. And I'm going to go into the lighter, more of a yellow-orange. I don't know what you would call that. Tangerine. There you go. So I'm just taking a little bit, that's a little much, tangerine color. And this is going to blend out the top of this red really lightly. So place it at overlapping the red a little bit. Well, I used a little bit of this like kind of like sun kind of neon yellow, and then this just, I don't know, yellow. They're both matte. And this is going to go on the outside of that orange. My cream color bases, and I'm going to go into the blue with my small chisel brush again. And this is going to go all the way around my bottom lash line from this corner to right a matte grape color. And this is going to go on the outer half. So press it in just like we did at the top. Alright, once you have that color intensity that you want, take it only about, I don't know, a third of the way in. Getting some on the tip of that. This is gonna set the rest of that blue. Press and wiggle into your lashes. Really light blue, and this is gonna go underneath that darker blue, and it's gonna blend downwards. Line my waterline and smudge this into the base of my lashes so that there's no color gaps at all. No skin showing. So I'm going to take my liquid liner.
I'm going to take this wing pretty far out. And I want to really thin taper like that. just however you usually do your eyeliner. You don't even have to do a wing shape.
Okay, so I also just throw things in the air randomly. I took this and winged my inner corner, and then from the very outside I kind of just connected that to my very outer corner on the bottom, just so that it flows more. I don't know. Starting off with just a little bit again on the very tip of this. I'm gonna follow this wing, just firstly intensifying the very outer socket.
Once you have that parallel line, you can start to kind of fill in.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a fluffy angled brush. It doesn't really matter what you use to place this next color. I know there's a lot of colors going on. It's like a spring green, a matte one. Kind of like new grass green, yeah. And take a tiny little dab of that, just like that. And with this color you really want to be careful about blending, because if you blend it into the red and the yellow and all that stuff, it's gonna turn like shit brown. It's gonna be placed under my brow, in the front, and then kind of into the hollow. You know, you don't want, you don't really want to like swipe, just pat it. It's called tap blending. Go figure. I sounded like Hector right there. Go figure. So I'm going to take a stippling brush. I'm going to go in to Heather Silk by Wet n Wild. It's another matte. And up. Now for the dots. For this, I'm going to be using not the 120 palette. I'm actually going to be using one of my Glamour Doll eyeshadows. Sorry, what am I doing here? One of my Glamour Doll eyeshadows in Electric Lemonade, which is like this really electric, shimmery yellow. So I'm going to use like a script brush. And then I'm going to use mixing medium, which is just 3 parts glycerin to 3 parts water here. So I already have like a little dot of that in there. I'm just going to get the brush damp, not super saturated. So take a glob of that and take the cap and kind of mix it around so you get kind of like a paste.